This conference will now be recorded.
The topic I want to discuss today is multi-threading. Okay. On need basis, we will use multi-threading. It's not like everyday kind of thing for you. Multi-threading. While we are talking about multi-threading, we need to talk about multitasking. Okay. What does it mean by multitasking? So we know what is multitasking. By the name, we can guess something. Doing multiple things simultaneously, doing multiple things at a time. Okay, that is nothing but multitasking. Okay, so there are two types of multitasking here. One is process based, another one is thread based. One is process based and another one is thread based. Process based means if you observe my computer, I am parallelly executing so many programs. Okay, GoToMeeting is running, PyCharm is running, some Visual Studio Code is running, SQL Server database is running. So many tasks are executing simultaneously. If I open Visual Studio Code and if I write some code there, I can use it. If I write some query in the SQL Server, I can use it. So those processes are already running. They are in running state. Okay. Maybe you can play YouTube in your browser in the background. You can do your work. You can play some songs in Windows Media Player and you can work on something. So all these kind of things comes under multi tasking based on process. Okay, those are all comes under process. Coming to thread, thread is related to your program. Okay, when you are writing a program and in the same program, if you are executing separate parts simultaneously, that is known as thread based multitasking, or that is nothing but multi-threading. Okay, so in the program, if you are doing, program is a single unit, right? If you are doing multitasking or simultaneous execution of a different set of code, that is nothing but multi-threading or multitasking using thread based multitasking. Okay, the main advantage of thread based execution is to save some time. Okay, to have some good performance. Say for example, I have a function here. Okay, assume that I have one function 1. Okay, I have some logic here, some logic inside the function. Also I have function 2, some logic is there inside this also. Okay, assume that to execute this logic, okay, it will take 10 minutes. 10 minutes it requires, and to execute this logic it requires 5 minutes, for example. Okay, and some consumer object, okay, some other area, they needs to access these two methods. Okay, for example, I have for loop for x in range 5, for example, range in 5. Here, from here, I'm calling function 1 and I'm calling function 2. Okay, so if I write a program like this, okay, assume that this logic is taking 10 minutes, means uh, it is going to interact with some external database or external service, or something is happening, some processing it is doing. It requires 10 minutes to complete execution of function 1, and for function 2 it requires 5 minutes, for example. Okay, if I write a program like this, how much time it requires to complete this program? Function 1 10 minutes, function 2 5 minutes. Here I am looping 5 times and I am calling both the functions. So total function 1 plus function 2 15 minutes. How many times I am calling it? 5 times. 5 into 15. How much time it requires? 75 minutes, right? 75 minutes it will take to execute this program. Okay. If function 1, function 2 are independent, okay, I don't have any dependency, they can execute once I trigger those functions. If I can make something like they can execute parallelly, okay, if I can make something like I can execute function 1 and function 2, for now they are executing in a serial manner, one execution after next iteration, like that it is executing. Okay, instead of that, if I can execute all both the functions simultaneously in parallel, okay, how much time it takes? Within 15 minutes, the execution will complete. Okay, so advantage of multi-threading is it reduces the time of execution. That's it. Okay, so instead of executing one by one all the threads, if you can execute multiple threads in the same time, it will reduce the time of execution. Is it clear so far? If it is clear, we can see with examples. Any questions so far? Every program you are writing will be executed under one thread. Okay, that thread is known as main thread. Even though you are writing multi-threading program or not, in the background your program is getting executed using one thread called main thread. Any program you take, C, C++, Java, any C#, .NET, any programming language you take, when you are executing one program means that is executing under one thread. That thread is known as main thread. Okay, also you can also create your own threads and you can call the different functions. Okay, let us see with example so you'll get more clarity how to write and all. Okay, let me write one simple thread like this, a thread without using any class, just like our functional programming. Simply I'll create one thread here. Okay, let me write an example. So in order to use threading concept, you have to import threading module. Threading module is required in order to write multi-threading program. Okay, let me write one program and then I'll explain. Okay, define display, for example, for I in range 1, 11. That means 10 times I want to execute this. Print child thread. Next, I want to create one thread object. Thread target equals to display. If I have any parameters, I can pass the parameters here, like saying arguments. Here I can say arguments, and I can pass the parameters if there are any. Okay, we'll see that example later. Then I have to say t dot start. That's it. Okay, and for my understanding, I'll write one more loop here. Print main thread. This is my program. Okay, so here I did not write any classes here, just a simple example I have taken. Okay, so the new things here are, except line number 2, line number 8, line number 9, remaining all are familiar to you guys. We have already done so many examples like that. Okay, only new statements are statement 2, 8 and 9. Statement 2 is used to import threading module to my program. I want to import threading module to thread example 1.py to my program. So that is the reason why I have imported the threading module. Next, I have written one function, display function. Inside that, I'm just looping for 10 times. I'm printing a message called child thread. Okay, that's it. And in the line number 11 and 12, I have written one more for loop. Just I'm printing main thread. That's it. Okay. In the line number 8 and 9, what I'm doing here is I am creating one thread object. T is one thread object. How I am creating? We have to call thread class. Thread is the class actually. Okay. T equals to thread class, and I am passing target equals to display. We have to pass one parameter called target. We have to give the method name. If you have any parameters for that method, you have to say after display comma args equals to, you have to pass the value. Okay, so I got the thread object created in line number 8. Next, what I need to do, I have to start the thread. I have to start the thread. So how to start the thread? T dot start. That's it. T dot start. If I say T dot start, it will start the thread. Okay. So you have to understand this way. So one function is created that is available for me. I'm starting one thread. Okay, I'm creating one thread object using this function. Yes, it is created. Next, I called t dot start. So what happens? It will trigger display method. Display method will be executing after execution of line number 9. Display method will be executing. In parallel, this code will also be executed. Line number 11 and 12. So child thread and main thread, both the statements you can see in the console simultaneously. Okay, when you are writing multi-threading coding, you cannot decide which thread should execute first, which thread may execute second, like that. Okay, based on resources available on your system, for each thread different resources will be allocated, and we can't say whether the first child thread will be executed or main thread will be executed. It depends upon the resources available. Okay, let me run this program. Thread ex1. See here what happened here. First, of course, it is taking less time, so there is no much what I can say, there is no much time taking logic there. So it has executed first the child thread, then it executed the main thread. Okay, both are executed. I got the output for both of the threads. Clear? We'll see some more examples so that you will understand how the multi-threading is working. This is clear, guys, how to create a thread object and how to start it. Is it clear? The takeaway from this is this one. This is the important takeaway. Did not happen 10 times. It happened actually. I did not show completely. See here. The output is little clumsy actually. So after line number 9, child thread is triggered. It started its execution, and it went to line number 11 and 12. It started its execution. Both are parallelly executing. In between, child thread got some extra resource or some extra time here, and there is no big logic there. There is no waiting there. So all the statements got executed quickly, and main thread also same. See here, to understand this one, child thread, main thread, child thread, main thread, child thread, main thread. Why it is coming like that? The first 4 statements, because both are executing simultaneously, both are executing parallelly. That is the point you need to understand. Okay, here it might got some more resources, something, or maybe it might got some more time in between, and we are just printing one statement, except that there is no big logic or time consuming. logic there. So it quickly printed the remaining statements here. Clear, guys? As I am repeatedly telling, the takeaway is this one and this one, the new statements for you. Okay, let me write one more example. Similar kind of example I'll write, but just using the class I will write. Okay, thread example 2. Thread using class. Okay, so I need to import and say import threading also. Okay, class, I'm taking one class, for example demo class. Okay, and it's not coming. Let me import this way only from threading import star thread. Okay, what is the meaning of this statement? Line number 3, it is inheritance. Okay, demo is my own class, user defined class. Thread is a class from threading module. What I am doing here, I am importing thread class into my demo class. Okay, now I'll create one method, some random method, define some display again. Here I'll print for x in range of 10, print child thread also. Child thread. Good. Okay, here I don't have to say any target or anything. Simply I'll say one object I'll create t equals to demo t dot start, I'll say. Okay, next I'll write one more for loop for I in range say 10, print main thread. As part of execution, it is same like the previous program only. Only difference is I have created one class here and imported the thread class into my demo class, and I have written one method here. I'm just saying t dot start. Actually, here I think I need to provide method name as run. Okay, so I have to give a method name as run. It will automatically pick up. So t equals to demo will create an object for my demo class. When I say t dot start, what happens? Run method will be executed automatically. Okay, so child thread message will be printed, and in parallel we are printing main thread message also, that will also be executed. Okay, it's a slightly different way of writing your thread. See here, I got both methods executed. The main thread related code is executing, and the child thread related code is also executing parallelly. Okay, let me write the third way. Without inheriting thread class into my class, also I can write multi-threading.
So why is it run, sir? That thing. Why did you give run? You can give any other name, right?
Ideally, it's a practice. Let me try once again. So it's executing. See here, it's executing main thread, but it's not executing the run. I mean child thread. By default, when you say t dot start, it will look for a method called run is available or not in the thread. By default, it will execute if that is available. When you say t dot start, it's like overriding the run method. So in thread, run method will be there. You're overriding it. So simply you can remember like this: when you are inheriting thread into your demo class, create one method called run. Okay, when you create an object for your class and when you say t dot start, automatically this code will be executed. Okay, it is expecting run method to be there. If run method is there, it will execute that part. Otherwise, it won't execute anything. Okay. This is as part of threading. But if you have any other method, so for example, display, you have to explicitly call that method, like t.display, like that. That is like your normal instance method and instance method calling only. Okay. Run should be there. Let me try third example. _3. It is similar like your first example. Let me copy here. Let me copy paste here. I'll create one class demo. Right. I created one class. I have one method here. Let me say self method. Okay. Inside this method, I have written some logic of my wish. Done. Next, I want to create one thread object and I want to start the thread t.start. Okay. Here, to call this method, to provide this method as my target, what I need to do is I have to create an object for demo. I have to create an object for demo class, demo. Then here I have to say d.demo, d.display. That's it. It is same like your first example. In the first example, we have directly called the method. Here we have created one class. Inside the class, I have different methods. For example, here I have written only one method called the display method. Okay. If I want to pass that method as a argument to my thread class, what I can do is I can say target equals to object dot method name that I can provide. So later in the line number 11, I'm saying t dot start. So what happens here? So the target is d dot display. So it will trigger the display method. Okay. Output wise, we don't see any difference. So there are different ways of writing your multi-threading coding. Okay. So if you see here, it is executing simultaneously both the threads, and we are getting both the outputs here. You may not find it so beautiful when you are dealing with the print statements like that. Okay, assume that your function, your display function, is executing some big logic. So it is reading some Excel data, it is processing the Excel, it is extracting, filtering, so many operations it is doing, and at the end it is going to commit that changes into your database. Like that, assume that it is doing some big task. When it is doing some big task, if you are using this multi-threading concept, simultaneously it will execute, and it saves so much time for you. If you are for testing, we are writing these print statements and all just for our easy understanding. Assume that this print statement is your big logic in the background. Think in that way so that you can understand why we need to use the multi-threading concept. Clear? 3 examples are clear. Any questions on this? Now I'll show you an example how multi-threading is saving our time without using multi-threading and with using multi-threading. Let's see one more example. Thread example 4 also. I'll write one program without using multi-threading, and I'll write the same program with using multi-threading. Let us see the difference. Okay, so I'll import from threading, import star. Done. Also, I want time, import time. I'll take one method, double, for example, numbers. Say for n in numbers, time dot sleep 1 second, and I'll say print double 2 into n, for example. I'll write one more method. Define square, for example, numbers for n in numbers, time dot sleep, 1 second, print square is n star n. This is n square, right? Okay.
So that is, I think that is range of numbers.
No. N star n means square, right?
No, double part I'm talking about. No, you're passing numbers as a parameter, right? You have to take range of it, right?
No. I want to pass. I'll call that numbers equals to. I'll pass some list or tuple. List is fine for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'll take one variable. Begin equals to time dot time. Okay. We have imported one module here. Import time. So that will import a time module. That will have some methods for you. If I say time dot time, what happens is it will give the current time, including the seconds and milliseconds, everything it will include, and it will give the current time. Okay, so I got the current time here. Now I'll call both the methods, doubles of numbers, squares of numbers. Okay, then I'll calculate time taken, like for example, I'll take n time dot time. Now I'll say print time taken is begin minus n minus begin, n minus begin. Okay, this is the program. So what I'm doing here, this is straightforward. Let me explain quickly. So I have one method double. Okay, for this method I'm passing some list, some collection I'm passing. I am looping through all the elements. I am printing the double value 2 star n. That means I am printing the double value of each number. Here, actually this logic won't take so much time. It will execute within milliseconds only. Intentionally, I am putting some time dot sleep. When I say time dot sleep 1, that means when line number 6 is executing, your program will be paused. That will be on hold. Okay, for 1 second. So I have 5 elements here. When I called double numbers method, what happens is it prints this calculated value and waits for 1 second. Again, it prints and it waits for 1 second. Like that, to execute double method, it takes 5 seconds. 5 plus seconds. Of course, some milliseconds will be required for execution of this print statement also. So 5 plus seconds. Again here, it requires 5 plus seconds. Nearly to execute these two statements, we need 10 plus seconds of time. Okay. So intentionally, I mentioned time dot sleep for line number 6 and line number 11. The reason is just to have the scenario like we are having a method which is consuming more time. Okay, so I got two methods here. Then I have taken one collection numbers equals to 1 2 3 4 5. Before calling these methods, I just captured the current time. Okay, so time dot time function will give you the current system time, and that is assigned to begin variable. Next, I'm calling double method. I'm calling square method. So these two will be executed. For execution of these two, how much time it requires? 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds it will take. After execution, I'm again taking time dot time to one variable end. Okay, so it will give you the system time again. At the end, I'm printing time taken is n minus begin. Okay, so it will give you how much time it has taken to execute this program. Let us see how much time will it take. See here, after printing one value, it is waiting for 1 second. How much time it has taken? 10 point some value here. So that means 10 plus seconds. This 10 seconds are coming from because of the sleep. We mentioned sleep. That sleep statement is executed for 10 times, and for each time it is in sleep for 1 second. So 10 seconds it slept, and for execution of the remaining all code like print statements, it took some milliseconds time here. So total time taken to execute this program is 10 seconds, right? Let us see now. I'll write the same program using multi-threading. Let me copy this. For your reference, I'll keep it and we'll add one more program. Thread example 5, I think. Same program I'm taking here. Everything is same. Instead of calling these two methods directly, what I'll do is I'll call them using threads. Okay. How to call them using threads? I'll say T1 equals to thread. Okay, we know this. Target equals to double. Okay, I'm passing the double method, comma, args equals to arguments I need to pass numbers. Okay, that's it. I'll create one more thread object, T2. Here squares I'll say. Actually, as per syntax, here I have to say comma. Okay, because we pass multiple values, I should say comma. Now I'll say T1 dot start, T2 dot start. Is it clear? Upper part is same. I have two methods, double and square. Okay, I have numbers as collection, that is same. Begin time is same, line number 15. Line number 20, 21 are same. End time I have captured, and I am printing the difference between end time and begin time. In between, I have created two thread objects, T1 and T2. T1 equals to thread target double. That means T1 will execute double method. That double method expects some arguments. Here the argument is collection of numbers or list of numbers. Okay, args equals to numbers I have said here. Okay, and here as per syntax I have to say comma also. That's why I have mentioned the comma. Okay, and arguments numbers, again I'm creating another thread object for square method also. Now once I got both the objects of thread, what I'm saying, T1 dot start, T2 dot start. So let us see how much time it takes. Previously, how much time it has taken? 10 plus seconds. Let us see what the difference we will get. We got some exception.
I think we should remove comma, sir.
Not with the comma. Actually, here we have to pass as a collection. Arguments we have to pass as a collection, not the direct value. This is one issue. And exception thread 1. Line number line 932. Bootstrap. Why are you saying Bootstrap? It's a console application. See here. So funny. I got time taken is some different value. We'll talk about it in a moment. Let me write one more statement. I'll tell you what it is. Join t2.join. Okay. Let me run this again. No. This is not what I'm expecting. Why I got output like this? Any guess? If you can guess this, you got multi-threading concept.
So actually, the print statement should print after all those things, no, sir? After
Yes,
threading executes.
yeah, that is expectation. But why it printed before this, before double and square? Any guess?
I think so. It's parallel execution. I think maybe.
Of course, parallel execution of what?
Okay, understood, sir. In T1 dot start and T2 dot start, you gave time gap, right? Within that time, it printed the first statement. Time taken is the print statement it printed, sir. You can just look it out by taking out that statement, the time dot sleep in that double and that functions. You can
Even if
do it.
I remove time dot sleep also, we'll get similar kind of.
No, so by the time it will be executed, no, so by the time print statement will be executed, right?
That is my question actually. Why it is executing by that time?
Uh,
Who is executing it? At least in a different way. If you want me to ask you, see here now also I got different kind of output. Now also they are executing simultaneously. My question is, who is executing this statement? Anyone? Chat window. Any guess, guys? Who is executing line number 21? This will solve our problem. I know the solution, but before the solution, I want you to understand who is executing the line number 21, line number 20, line number 15, 14. Who is executing? Main thread. I told you, right? By default, one thread will be executing for your program. That thread is main thread. Okay. But along with main thread in our program, we have written two more threads, T1 and T2. Now in the background, actually, three threads are executing. Okay, three threads are simultaneously executing. So why? Let me write it here. First, let me show you the output as expected. Then I'll explain you. See here. I corrected the program somehow. I'll tell you how I have corrected and what is the reason behind the error. Okay. Without using multi-threading concept, the time for execution of this program is 10 seconds. By using multi-threading concept, it took 5 seconds. So we are saving 5 seconds here. We are just calling 2 times only, right? But if we are calling multiple times, 100 times or 200 times, some logic is there. You are figuring that so many times, and if it is executing simultaneously one after one, it will take so much time for you. Instead of that, if you can execute them simultaneously or parallelly, so you can save so much of time. Is it clear? At least this point is clear to everyone. Using multi-threading, we are saving execution time. For that, I have shown the example. You got that point at least? Everyone? No, yes. If you tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let us try to understand this program. Okay. I think till here, no one is having any question. Confirm me, guys. Till here, is it clear to everyone? Clear or not? Guys, same program, right? Same like previous program. Okay, let me go line by line from here. Okay, numbers equals to, I'm taking one list which will contain 5 elements. I'm taking time dot time. So the current time of current execution time will be stored into begin variable, right? These two statements are also written in the in the previous program. Actually, who is executing these two lines? When you are executing one program, one thread called current thread or main thread will be there. Okay, one main thread will be executing all your statements of the program. Okay, that you have to remember, guys. Even though you are seeing a thread object or not, even though you are seeing an import threading or not, your program is executing in one thread. That you have to remember. That thread is known as main thread. Okay, so main thread is executing your entire program here. Okay, and while executing, what you have done in the line number 17 and 18, you have created two threads, two thread objects you have created here. Okay, thread. For thread 1, you are passing double method, and for thread 2, you're passing square method here. Okay, these two methods expect some arguments. We have to pass the arguments this way. Arguments equals to, and the collection say comma. Like that you have to pass the arguments. Done. So I got two thread objects. Next, I am calling t1.start and I am calling t2.start. Initially, I have written only line number 19 and 20. I did not write 21 and 22. Okay, so if I write t1 dot start and if I write t2 dot start, when line number 19 is executed, thread object t1 will be triggered. It will trigger double method. Okay, in line number 20, square method will be triggered. That will be executed in the parallel. Okay, previously I did not write these two statements. Okay, if I don't write these two statements, what happens is in parallel T1 thread is executing and T1 thread is executing the double method. In parallel, T2 method is also executing. It is executing square method. Also in parallel, main method is executing. It is executing next statements of your T1.start and T2.start. So these two statements are executing. Okay. In T1 and T2, we have mentioned time.sleep. So 1 second it is waiting. For execution of these two statements, it takes milliseconds only. Okay. So it has calculated the end time and it has printed the difference between end time and begin time. If you say T1.join and T2.join, what happens is until T1 is executed and until T2 is executed, your main thread will wait. Okay, your main thread is waiting until T1 and T2 are executing. It is joining, your main method is joining to T1, your main method is joining to T2, and it is waiting. Then it is calculating end time and it is printing the difference between begin and end time. Is it clear, guys? Any questions on this part?
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, even if you don't write T1 dot join, T2 dot join, the print statement should print at last, no sir. But why is it printing at the first?
Because three are executing parallelly. Three threads are executing parallelly. So
Okay.
when three threads are executing parallelly, what is happening is, so how to understand this program's execution is, say, I have imported, import statements also will be executed in main thread. Okay, I got two methods definitions here. Definitions are created and they are available in my memory. Okay, line number 14, 15. Who is executing these statements? Main thread. Let me take it. This is main thread. It is executing.
Okay.
Okay. Next, what happened in line number 17 and 18? We created two thread objects. In the line number 19 and 20, what we have said, we said T1 dot start, we said T2 dot start also. Just to differentiate, I will take another shape. This is T1 thread. Okay. This is T1. And this is T2 thread. This is T2 thread. Now, at the same time, three threads are executing for us. Main thread, T1 thread, T2 thread. Okay. So for main thread, assume that these two are not there. This scenario we are discussing. Main thread created T1, created T2, T1 started triggered, T2 started triggered. Okay. When T1 dot start triggered and T2 dot triggered, there is a waiting time of 1 second. Okay. And main thread is executing this line and this line also in parallel. These two execution for these two takes only milliseconds of time, only fraction of milliseconds only it will take. So these two are very straightforward and simple statements for the main thread. So it executed these two statements and it printed the output. Here. After main thread printing the output, its wait time is over for T1 and T2. They are starting printing their print statement simultaneously. One by one, they are printing the statements. Okay. When you write join statement, the main thread will join with T1 and T2. It waits until these two are completed. Maybe you can assume like this. Timeline. Okay. Timeline. Assume that this is timeline. T1 and T2 are parallelly executing. Once they are done their execution, main thread will resume its execution. When you say join, this is when you say join, so this is the execution timeline, you can understand. Is it clear, guys?
Okay, sir. In that print statement is there, right, sir? And the last, that is the initial time. So it means that.
Which one?
This one, this 24th line print statement. It gives the information at that the time of this one, right? Initially, like when it started, the time it gives, right?
Not when it started actually. Here, see here. Before.
No, without join statement, sir. If you don't write T1 dot join and T2 dot join, it gives some time, right? It gave
Yes.
it at starting. That is the initial time, right? Indirectly.
It's not initial time actually, because it is taking very less time to execute. You are not seeing much difference, but it is the time difference between execution of line number 15 and between line number 23. There are between 23 and 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some 6 statements are there, right? How much time takes to execute these 6 statements? That is what we are printing here.
Okay.
Okay.
But there isn't much difference, no, sir. There isn't much difference, right?
There won't be much difference. Like our program is very fast, right? It won't take so many minutes to within fraction of second. If you write this statement, how much time it will take to print? If you in your program you have only one print statement. How much? Very less time, right? Less than a millisecond. If it is taking seconds or minutes, it's like for small operations also, it would be very difficult user experience we will face. Okay, if you want to see like that, say here, maybe time dot sleep, can keep some sleep time here also. Here also, okay. If I don't mention join statements here, now here time taken, you can see 2 seconds plus some fraction of seconds, you can see here. See here, 2 seconds is the intentional sleep we have mentioned. Okay, 2 seconds. This much time it has taken to execute all the remaining steps here between line number 24 and line number 15. Whatever the statements we have provided here, it has taken this much seconds of time to execute your statements in the program. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Let me know if it is not still clear or if you have any doubts, so that will is not required. Concept is clear to everyone. Just remember the concept. You can see the examples and you can write your program. Okay, anytime. When you have a specific requirements in specific situations only, you will use this kind of multi-threading concepts. Okay, it's not like every day you have to write multi-threading concept. Not like that. Try to understand the concept and try to remember few areas, like how it is saving the time, how to create a thread object, how to pass arguments for thread objects. Okay, that kind of information you try to remember. And there are a couple of concepts like locking, semaphores, R lock. Okay, there are a couple of things. Just remember what it is. Okay, that's it. Just for interview purpose, remember what it is. What is the purpose of it? That's it. You don't have to too much worry about multi-threading. But in interviews, they will ask you, so what is multi-threading? What is the advantage of multi-threading? What is the purpose? Like that, they will ask you. When you are working really, it's not like your daily routine job based on specific requirements. When you have huge process to execute and it is consuming more time, different users are accessing your system and you want to execute them in parallel. In that situations, you can use a multi-threading concept. Clear, guys? Let me write one more program. There are two properties. We have identity and a name. Let me print that so that you can understand what is the main thread I'm saying. Thread ex underscore 6. It's 6, right? Why it is saying, come on. From threading import star. Okay. We'll take one test method. I don't write anything for now. Okay. T equals to thread target equals to test. Okay, I got one thread here. T dot starter. Now I'll print a few details here. Print T dot ident. Okay. Print T dot get name. Also, I'll print current thread dot ident. Print current thread dot get name. Let us see what it will give. Ident means it will give the identity. It will give some number. When your program is getting executed, for each thread, there will be one number allocated. Some ID will be there. Okay, same like for your variables, some memory address will be there for your variables, right? In the same way, for your threads also, some identity, some ID will be there. Okay, if some reason, if you want to check the ID of any specific thread, you can say thread dot ident. It will give you the ID of the thread. Okay, also you can get the name of your thread. You can get the name of your thread. How to get the name of your thread? Your thread object dot get name. Okay, get name. When I say t dot get name, it is given me thread hyphen one. Okay, that is thread one, child thread one. If you see line number 11, when I said current thread dot get name, it is saying main thread. By default, its name is main thread only. When you imported a threading module, you can say current underscore thread. That will refer to the main thread of your program. So you can do some operations whatever you want to do. Can I set a name for this thread instead of having thread one? Can I set some different name? Yes, I can set like a t dot set name. I have set name. Say I'll say child thread, for example. Using this program, the takeaway is set name, get name, ident. Ident will give unique ID of your thread in your program. Get name will give the name of your thread. Set name, using set name, you can set one name for your thread object. Okay, that is one thing you have to remember. Next, in line number 11 and 12, I used current thread. There is one object called current underscore thread, which will refer to your main thread of the program. Okay, if you want to print the identity, yes, you can say dot ident. It will give you the ID. If you want to print the name, you can say dot get name. So that will print the name of the main thread. Okay, these are some important points about threading. There are a couple of things we need to understand. That's little advanced, but we'll cover that part also. Semaphores, R-locks, locking concept is there for concurrency execution of threads. We'll discuss tomorrow. Let us see how much you can grasp it. At least you remember the keywords, right? That is enough for your interview purpose. Okay. We'll cover all the remaining topics of the multi-threading also. For your reference, it will be there.